Thank you. So we are now recording.
Okay, we are recording.
Perfect. I had timed the meeting out to be 95 minutes, and yet I am asking that we have a different discussion than the one that we planned. What I would like to do is kind of go through and talk about how this would work if we were using it, so people begin to get it in their heads. Does that make sense to people? Okay, so people are consenting to change the agenda and to allow us to have this conversation. Sylvie and Sailesh, are you okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So and we will decide on our next meeting at the end of this one, and we'll talk about what the other group decided to do. We've already changed the agenda. So this next piece, this nomination of roles, is that every group decides on what roles it needs to have. And there is generally a facilitator, sometimes a leader, sometimes those are the same people, or the same person, sometimes they're split. In a subgroup like this, it probably makes some sense to have one person be the facilitator and the leader. And then there's a secretary, someone that will take notes, because it is really difficult to facilitate and take notes at the same time. And then there is a delegate that reports back to the parent group. In this case, it would be VCI. We came to the conclusion at the other meeting that we could probably have the secretary also be the delegate, that we don't need to have different roles since everyone is on VCI who is on these subgroups. For each of these roles, though, we would go through this whole series of questions, defining the role, defining the term of service that a person would choose to do that role. So if you're the facilitator, you're going to be the facilitator for a year or for 3 months or for however long the group decides. Defining the qualifications of that role, and then nominating people. And this is, in my opinion, this is a really fascinating way to do this. So in sociocracy, the idea is that people who volunteer to do things are not always the people who have the skills and the qualifications to do it. And people who may not volunteer may have skills and qualifications that they're not even aware of. And people can nominate themselves. So you can still volunteer, but you would also discuss why you think you are the person who could do that. And other people then nominate. And there's a very transparent conversation about why a person is being nominated and what it is that they would be doing. Jorge suggested that the best way to do this is with a Google Doc up, where you're actually writing down in real time that everyone can see all of the qualifications and the term of service and who's nominated and what the thinking is behind that. And at this point, I mean, I will admit that there's a part of me that's like, oh, come on, let's just get this work going. You know, we can just do this. But there's another part of me that, as I think through the whole of Vegan World 2026 and the complexity of the work and what it is we are actually attempting to do. And I mean, Sailesh, it's very clear, you say it very clearly. This is the biggest transformation that humanity has ever attempted to do. Right. If we don't have a foundation that really supports what we're doing, and if we are not practicing, you know, radical equality, then we are going to have a much harder time to get there. And so it feels, these are my thoughts and opinions, and I want to open it up for everyone else, but it feels to me like backing up, taking a little bit of time to build this foundation to get on really strong footing is going to allow us to move really quickly once we get there. And in the process, Jessica will be answering the question, is this what we want to do? Do we want to use sociocracy? Do we want to use this, you know, they speak about it in terms of being radically equal and incredibly inclusive. And by the way, I know you're interested in nonviolent communication, and that is a backbone of sociocracy. It's a built-in. We don't even have to do it separately. It's already built in. So there's a number of things. You can tell I'm excited about this. I'm also into these things. Everyone is not. And, you know, Jorge also asked me to, you know, remember, everyone is not going to do the research. I'm on multiple websites already. I've ordered the book. I'm geeky about these kinds of things. Everyone's not going to do it. And yet we need to show people what it could be like. So at this point, that's a summary of the conversation that we have. I'd like to open it up to conversation with everyone about how we're doing this. Do people have questions, concerns, objections, thoughts?
It feels like it is very similar to what we went through for the internet standards. Okay, so it's the same thing.
Okay, that is very cool.
Yeah, but there, because we didn't have sociocracy, there was Robert's Rules of Order and things like that, you know, which is a way of conducting meetings. But yeah, we need to have a formal process in place. Yeah, absolutely. And so that everyone knows that this is where you can go and get the minutes. And so you understand what happened in the whole group. So everything is transparent. Yeah.
I have just something because I thought of it today. That's indirectly related to this, but if possible, can we, as soon as possible, try to have every meeting that is scheduled for any reason on Basecamp listed in the Vegan World 2026 schedule? And then if it's only for certain people, maybe list out those people, because I think it's going to get pretty confusing when the meetings are listed in all different places, and some of them are now being listed in pings, and then like I've got all these pings, and then if I click on hey, it's so long, and I would, you know, so if we can at least have it there, and maybe possibly in addition to other places, so that we can, when we want to know, what do I need to do today? What do I need to do tomorrow? What do I need to do this week? I can go in there, everybody can go in there in one place and see all the meetings. And like I said, maybe if it's only just for certain people, maybe list out those people. If somebody's like, is that me? Then it can have whoever is on it. You know what I mean? I don't know. If
yeah, that's one of the groups. That's one of the groups that we actually have as a calendar group that's going to have a master calendar of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And
I think even if it's a meeting for just a few people, anyone should be able to observe any meeting. So it should be open to everyone, you know.
Sounds good, and I'm on that calendar team. But yeah. Today it became relevant for me, and I thought, that might be helpful for it to be in one place.
Yeah, me too. I was looking for the link.
Other questions, comments, thoughts? Sylvia, I know you know a lot about sociocracy that I don't. Do you want to add some things here?
Well, I don't know if I know that much more than you. You probably did much more research than me. I was exposed to a not so good version of sociocracy. That's when I learned it. And so now we're both of us catching up on a model of sociocracy in another group that we're meeting online with. And it's slowly explained to us. So I know more, and I think I was skeptical at first about the system, but I think because I was exposed to this not really working sociocracy model, but in the end, with well done, it may seem now a little bit time consuming, but then it can save us a lot of time, and it can be very efficient. And I also agree that if this is the greatest transformation ever, then this should be part of it, no? A new way of making decisions, of moving in a meeting. It's very relevant to have a new system implemented, or a new method, I guess. Yeah, I like it. Thank you for doing so much research and facilitating that.
Well, and you asked, I think you were asking also how, or if we had any ideas about how information about sociocracy could be shared with everyone, since everyone is not going to be like, oh, sociocracy, I'm going to go learn about that. I can't wait. And so maybe the people who know, maybe, I don't know, soon, but not too far, not too soon, so that you have time, since you just got your book today, and everything. But maybe you and Jorge, Sylvie, whoever all else, I don't know who all else knows all about it, can, I don't know, this is just one idea, but one idea would be maybe for you all to have a Zoom meeting about it, and kind of organize it some kind of way, and then take turns telling about maybe different parts of it that people can attend, but then also it can be, the video can be posted later, because I'm not sure if I would be one of the people who'd be like, oh, I'm going to go find out about that right now. And so, but I would watch, either attend the meeting or watch the video, so I don't know, that would be one way. I'm sure I already Googled it, but I don't know, that's just one idea.
Yeah,
Jessica, you just proposed the first tutorial. So anyway.
right.
Yes, I was thinking about
Exactly. So we are getting some work done on tutorials here. Yep. It wasn't a total time waste. Yes, so the process group is going to figure out how to do that, and we will get something posted soon. We actually believe it will take us 2 VCI meetings to get through the first piece. And then we think it will be a whole lot faster. So the proposal right now is that these subgroups meet again after the first meeting in February of VCI. I don't have my calendar open, which is kind of foolish. So VCI will meet on the 28th of January and the 4th of February, and that these groups should probably meet again after the 4th in order to be able to use what we come up with in the VCI meeting to inform these groups. They're called circles in sociocracy speak. So the VCI circle will be a parent circle, and this group would be a sub-circle to that. And again, it's going to be really interesting to watch how this unfolds, and how we think about it. I actually was never I used Robert's Rules of Order forever. I was never a huge fan. It always seemed too bureaucratic, and this feels like, based on what I know so far, to be able to manage all of those things, but in a loving kindness way. And Robert's rules are much more.
Yeah, there's a chair.
Yeah.
Who has a whip.
Right. Exactly. And this just feels very, very different. Other questions, concerns, discussion? So we have our first tutorial. We know we need to get that done about sociocracy. There is some information in the VCI documents that has some videos that Jorge put together to go look at sociocracy and watch some things. Some of them are short and some are a little bit longer, but we will get to work on an actual tutorial for that.
Would there be a way to check with, if you all wanted to check with other people, everyone in Basecamp who wouldn't know about this tutorial for sociocracy, if they know about it and would like to contribute to it, to be able to have a chance to do that?
Yeah, I think I think what I would like to do is go to the process group with that question. Do we reach out to everyone in Basecamp right now? Do we put something together and send it out? How do we do that? So we'll be meeting sometime in the next few days, as soon as the rest of the people go to the doodle to plan that meeting. So yeah, that's a really good question to ask that full group.
So also along the lines of this, the tutorial, I just want to let you know that we are organizing a summit in March 1st through 10th.
Oh,
So that's going to be a one interview per day, the same format as the last summit. So I think we have decided to do it once every 6 months. So it's 2 summits per year. And so this one we have John McDougall will be there. Jim Hicks will be there. And then I'm going to approach some of you so that we can talk about some of the work that's happening within the Vegan World 2026 project as well. So we can, basically it's a forum for letting the public know this is what we are doing, this is what's happening. Right? So, so I have a list of 10 speakers so far, and I've asked and I've sent it to Deborah, so we are finalizing that. So that's one thing. Another is the 7 webinars that everyone watches. I'm thinking of updating them once a year. And maybe updating them, and aligning them around the 7 core shifts, as opposed to the 7 categories that I had before. So it'll require some, reworking of the material, but I think it should work better. And it'll also keep emphasizing the 7 core shifts. Actually, Jean-Francois calls it the 7 holy shifts. Anyway.
I think that's a great idea.
So that will be in April. I'm going to do that the first and second week of April. I'm going to have all 7 webinars. And I'll do again, one in the morning, one in the evening type of thing, so that anyone can attend. So because I want to get that done before we go on the Pinky Promise tour. Okay. What else? And then did I tell you about the Climate Healers Health Conference in Portland, Oregon?
Very briefly, but
Very
some
briefly,
more
okay.
detail would be wonderful.
Yeah, so that is happening on April 25th. I think they have lined up all the speakers now. So I think we have 6 speakers, each one gets an hour, and then discussion around that.
And who are the people who are coming?
It's mainly addressing the healthcare professionals, expanding their perspective so that they look at health as the health of the planet first, and then health of the people within that planet, as opposed to trying to solve healthcare for each individual, right? So there are NDs. There are 2 NDs who are speaking. The naturopathic doctors. There is John McDougall who is speaking. Milton Mills will be speaking, and then Zach Bush will be speaking.
Excellent.
So it's trying to look at health from a holistic perspective. Will the Climate Healers Health Conference be filmed? I think so. They're offering CME credits for NDs. I think so they're trying to make it very professional. So they have rented a church in Portland, which can host about 300 people.
Are you familiar with the Hippocrates Institute in West Palm Beach? You are, okay.
Yeah, they do one every year, right? There's a 14-day, 7-day conference or something like that.
Yeah, I think they're doing for doctors or for healthcare professionals. I think they're now doing 2, but they have just announced that they are doing a tour to transform the world, which is a fascinating. It was just fascinating to me.
Okay.
That they're doing, and so when you get to Florida, I think we should try and connect with them.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, someone from SoFlo Vegans contacted me.
Oh, cool.
Sean Russell. Do you know him? Okay.
Well, I know who he is.
Okay. Yeah.
Is he looking to do a podcast with you?
He did a podcast with me.
He
He did an
did.
interview, and then he wants me to come down to Southern Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we need to get you here. We just couldn't figure out how to do all of it at one time. So
Okay.
That is still on the plan. It's just on a different time frame, possibly. We thought Florida might be able to be done as its own tour, you know, for a short tour. But that's the Pinky Promise tour. We'll figure that out. Okay. Other questions, comments, concerns? I feel bad about changing the agenda, and yet I feel like it is an important thing to do this in the steps so that we have the foundation so that we can go much faster later on. Is there any general discussion that we want to have about these tutorials while we are all on this call together that we can keep note of without actually making too many decisions until we finish this VMA work? All right, we can hold on to that. Then I'm not sure what else we need to do today. Are there other things that other people want to spend some time doing since we have the Zoom and we're here? Or okay, then I just want to do a little checkout. I want to thank each of you for being patient as we work through how to organize all of this work. And again, I really believe that if we set up a foundation that we can follow into the future, we are going to be able to do much more work, much more quickly, much more effectively than if we just keep moving without having an actual process in place. So I am full of gratitude for each of you today. Suzanne, do you want to just share an outgoing?
Sure. I guess I'm also grateful for everyone's patience, and especially for you, Anne. I can't imagine what it must have felt like to come into a meeting and have to change the agenda. So I know I wasn't nominated to take notes, but I was still taking notes during all of this. So excuse me. So we can get this up, and I will make sure to post meetings on the full Vegan World 2026 calendar too, not just the group. And that wasn't very short, but thank you all. It was good to see you all.
Jessica?
Well, thank you. And I just want to say, don't worry about it. It seems like there's this feeling of, oh no, I had to change the agenda. Don't worry about it. Fine. It's all good.
Thank you. Ray?
I'm good.
Sylvie?
I also think it's good to adjust, be flexible and not just stick to it just because we send an agenda beforehand. And yeah, thank you for organizing it. I wonder if we could continue nevertheless collecting thoughts about what kind of tutorials we want to do, like in a written format. Maybe if someone has already more ideas, like more concrete ideas, maybe we could write it down in Basecamp and share it with each other.
We can start a Google Doc with the ideas that, I just sent out a handful of things that came to mind very quickly, but then we can put that out there and people can start adding to it. So yeah, Suzanne and I will figure out how to do that.
Or you can put a doc in the docs and files for VCI and call it tutorials, blah, blah. And then people can add it as a comment, what their ideas are.
Perfect. We will do that. All right. Sailesh?
Yeah, I think it's good that we start with a process meeting. So that's really what we had right now. And ideas for tutorials, there are plenty of them, and we'll add them to the document, so that we can start scheduling them over time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you to everyone. And, there's nothing wrong with having a meeting end earlier than it was supposed to. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.